Okay, I got my important glasses on. Are we ready to finish? Members of the jury, you are now in session. Get the point. You are the members of the peers that should be representing me. Not a bunch of lawyers, not a bunch of tax title takers, and not a bunch of people that don't have anything to be impartial about this. You're going to hear the information. I want you to write down on each document, is it true or is it false or is it his or is it not? That's very simple. And then you're going to make your conclusion at the end of this. So let's get started. Let's play the game. Okay, as you saw, Matthew C. Hallett's going to be the thing. Unfortunately, people think I look a lot like my grandfather, and his name was Matthew C. Hallett. So remember that name, and it's going to make sense to you as the jury contains its sessions. You'll be able to download, if you'd like, off of the Facebook page, 5 pages to see them more clearly. And they, most of them are of record, and most of them you can find either at the Registry of Deeds or the Probate Court. So, let's get on with the game. Now, if you've downloaded the documents, this is going to be the, highway map. I think it was July 1952. And this is the one thing. Once you download these papers, you can make notes, write on them, do whatever you want if you want. And these are the things I'm going to show that we're going to be talking about. The property that's in question is 36B. And this one is 36A. It doesn't come out very well when you print it. And this one here is 36C. And we're going to show you, which doesn't have a name on it, Josiah Gorham. So just to get you an idea, and the one behind it is Peter Thatcher. Let's get on. Okay, this is going to be moving along, and you're going to see what I've been going through for over 35 years or more. And you're going to see this is how it's going to go, and it's going to move pretty fast. You can always review it again, and let's see what the game begins with. Okay, if you download the documents and you can see them, this is the documents, the booking pages at the top. This is the typed one, and this is the one I believe was typed upstairs in the store. And Seth Taylor signed it, and of course, Fred Swift was the, I believe, was the judge at the time. But I know he was an important person. But this was the redemption. Now I want you to make this clear. This is the redemption. This is a right to redeem the property. Redeem the property means he had some ownership to it, or he had a lien on it or a mortgage, right? So, next document. Remember, if we're moving too fast, it's just because I just don't want to drag this on any longer than it has to be. So the next document will be Matthew C. Hallett, the first. Remember, that name's important I mentioned? So Matthew C. Hallett was alive in 1857, and he died in 1858. Here's the document. Okay, let's jump into this. Remember what I was saying? The important thing you're going to find is, for $300 paid by Matthew C. Hallett. Now, to not make this a long, drawn-out thing, I'm going to show you that all these people up here signed off on the property, and they signed off down here. And Edward signed off for Thomas Hallett. But Edward did not sign off for himself, because what I found was they all own land in common. So if one person died, the other one couldn't transfer land. So they all kept one part of the land so they could keep it moving forward. And you can see the John Eldridge's part of the property, and you can see all of this meaning to this tract of land. So if you scratch out your pencil, it would have been, I think, Josiah Gorham's lot. That would have been way up in the corner, John Eldridge's lot and Ansel Hallett's lot, if you add them all up, that's about 25 acres. So it said more or less. So let's move on. Now we are seeing this parcel here, the town of Yarmouth. This is the easement they took for the water tower. And if you can see right on here, it says the heirs of Thatcher Taylor Hallett. That's who Seth Taylor sold the land to. It says the book and page, it says everything about it. Now, I want you to read this very careful here. It says heirs of Matthew C. Hallett, Nathan Simpkins. Nathan Simpkins owned the water tower property. If you take that, and if you want to go on your own and go to that book and page, you're going to find that it says on that the heirs to Matthew C. Hallett's property and Ansel Hallett's property mention this one. And that's how you find the property that surrounds property, by taking points off of other deeds. And those deeds were written back then. And also Nathan Simpkins, when he owned the water tower, he eventually sold it to Thatcher Taylor Hallett. That's a different battle, but it makes sense when you do this for a long time. Now, is the jury confused? Possible. But this is the point that I'm trying to make. This could be very confusing if you don't take into the consideration of all the paperwork they've thrown at me. They wanted to make it confusing. But the name Matthew C. Hallett shows up on every document around this parcel of land and on the parcel of land when you consider the probate document I showed you. So, let's get on with the last document, and then we'll make my closing arguments for the decision you're going to make for me. Now I'm going to zoom in right here, and I'm not going to reflect. It says Matthew C. Hallett, and it says over here heirs of, also a 1/5 interest on a certain tract or certain piece. So you can download this and review it, as you can print the thing. It was out of Edward Hallett's will, giving Oliver Hallett a 1/5 interest, which I agree upon. Things like that did occur. Okay, what they're claiming is the tax taking was a redemption of the property of Matthew C. Hallett through Thatcher Taylor Hallett. That's who Seth Taylor sold it to. The lawyers are claiming it was a tax taking of sale and it wasn't recorded in time. Under a redemption, there's a 2-year statute of limitations. Under a tax sale, there's a 30-day. In 1892, it's now 60 in this day and age. So they're claiming it's not viable. But when you search the interest, there's nothing out there, because the 1/5 interest that Maria had was long and drawn out, and Oliver Hallett never included it in the inventory. It never got included in many of the records because they considered the tax sale or the redemption legal. They all sat on the boards together. They all worked in board. Years ago, they used to shake their hands with a handshake. It's like the Wild Wild West now. They're holding a gun to your head and they're going to say, give us your land. We don't have any claim to it, but we have all these paperwork and we're going to make you suffer if you give it to us. That's what they're doing. They don't have a claim. So, make your ruling. They have not provided me or the court with any, in my mind, viable documentation of land. They've taken it out of these, probates, and they've made it up to make it look like they got something. So, you decide. Okay, you're gonna vote. If you're on Facebook, give me a smiley face or a happy face if you like it, and I'm the winner. If you're Don't like it? Give me an angry face. If you're on YouTube, give me a thumbs up. If you like it, give me a thumbs down. If you don't, that will help speed up the verdict. Hope you vote. Pass it on. Don't just look at it and not vote. Doesn't help me, but I think this would make a great process in trying to solve things. 17 years they haven't made a ruling.